We are now joined live in Zanesville with our MVL reporter Grant Burkhardt. And Grant, last week against New Albany, Tri-Valley used a little bit of magic to get by them, but against Uniontown Lake, they would need a lot more of that magic. Yeah, well, that's the nature of the playoffs, Greg. You have to think that every team you're playing every week is the best team you've played all season, but Tri-Valley's playing its best ball of this season at clearly the most important part of the year, as seen by their double overtime win last week on the road at New Albany. And while this week's opponent, Uniontown Lake, looked very similar to New Albany on the field, Lake's a team that runs the football extremely well. The 8-3 Blue Streaks were a different monster entirely. Lake's played a schedule chock full of Division I opponents. This game played at beautiful Woody Hayes Quaker Stadium in New Philadelphia. And the Lake Blue Streaks came out ready to go. This team battle-tested this year. John Spahn, 16 yards on the first drive of the game for Lake, set up a Jim Luther touchdown from a yard up. 7-0 blue and white early in the first. But Tri-Valley would get back into it. On the next drive for Lake, Tyler Colopy, helmet on the football. Luther fumbles, Nate Strock recovers, and 4 plays later, Austin Jones, 12-yard touchdown, 7-7 at the end of the first quarter. Now in the second, Spahn again, finding the middle of the field and finding some space in the Scotty's defense, 24 yards. No one can seem to tackle the guy. He had 80 yards and a touchdown on the ground, 14-7, Uniontown Lake. But Spahn had trouble in the passing game. This pass comes out awkwardly and finds the hands of Tyler Colopy. 7 total tackles, a forced fumble, and interception for him. That set up a Matt Bulzan touchdown, another tying touchdown, but the wild half not over yet. Lake returned an ensuing kickoff for a touchdown, called back by a block in the back, and Spahn struggles continue. On the 3rd and 12, obvious passing down, flips it up, and Casey Williams in a flash, touchdown. 50 yards on the pick six, 21-14 Tri-Valley. At the end of the first half, now 4th and 10 for Lake with less than 2 to go. Spahn finds Jared Allison for 16, and Lake would score 21 all at the half. Now in the third quarter, Nate Strock knocked a little woozy, sat out a few possessions, and watched his team give up another touchdown. Spahn on a screen pass to Luther on a 3rd and 19 from the 21-yard line. He finds pay dirt, 28-21 Blue Streaks, and Strock back in the game now. Only missed a few possessions. His first possession back, Bird, Plain, Casey Williams. 81 yards on the reception, down to the 7-yard line. But 2 plays later, the snap is mishandled, and Lake recovers the football, and they would make Tri-Valley pay. Luther slams the door on 4th and 1, 17 yards for a touchdown. The senior had a huge game as Lake wins 42-28. Luther had 227 yards and 4 touchdowns as Uniontown Lake beats Tri-Valley, and they move on to the regional final. Grant, this thing was pretty close all the way until the end, but would you say the better team won tonight? I think so, Greg. Lake had 3 turnovers, all resulting in Tri-Valley touchdowns in the first half, and that was before Tri-Valley scored really late in this game, the only 3 touchdowns that the Scotties scored. So while Tri-Valley had a great season, they played great tonight, Lake was the better team, and Lake moves on. Well, it's a tough loss for Tri-Valley, but still an excellent season for them. Making the second round of the playoffs is always a success. Grant Burkhardt, thanks. Thanks, Greg.